You know, just a certain percentage of them Beatles, and then the rest just regular, interesting.
Paul Simon transformed American songwriting by blending poetry with melody. Born in Newark, New Jersey in 1941, he grew up in Queens listening to street corner doo-wop and early rock and roll.
So mama, don't take my Kodachrome away.
Simon won 3 Album of Year Grammys and was inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, once with Art Garfunkel and once solo.
Out of my first marriage, but I resort to believe we both.
His curiosity led him from folk music to South African rhythms on the legendary Graceland album. Throughout 6-decade career, Simon credited specific vocal groups and harmony duos as his foundation.
But I'm not sure. And they played pop music, and I just wanted to be there on time for the Yankee.
Here are 9 bands Paul Simon could watch forever. 9. Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Ladysmith Black Mambazo was a South African male choral group that helped make Graceland album legendary. Led by Joseph Shabalala, the group opened the song Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes with a transfixing a cappella section. Simon met them during his visit to South Africa in the 1980s. Their style combined isikhathamiya and imbibed traditional Zulu singing with harmonies that reminded Simon of doo-wop music he loved growing up.
That's the first thing I've heard on there that I had liked at all.
The group formed in 1960 in Ladysmith, South Africa. They sang in Zulu language with bass vocals, lead tenor, and tight harmonies, creating a unique sound. Shabalala co-wrote Homeless with Simon, adapting a traditional Zulu wedding song for the album. When Simon joined them at the microphones during recording, Shabalala nearly fainted. He called Simon brother and said, "Why is he hiding himself in America?" Their collaboration brought South African music to an international audience. Ladysmith Black Mambazo appeared on multiple Graceland tracks and toured with Simon worldwide. They won multiple Grammy Awards and became global ambassadors for South African music. Simon saw a connection between their vocal harmonies and American doo-wop groups, proving that harmony singing transcends cultural boundaries. Shabalala only had good things to say about working with Simon, unlike some other Graceland musicians who felt uncredited. 8. The Moonglows. The Moonglows were Simon's favorite childhood recording. Their 1955 hit Sincerely was first doo-wop single that truly captivated him as child. The song exemplified gospel-derived harmonies and rhythms that would influence his entire musical approach. The Moonglows formed in Cleveland, Ohio in 1952. The group consisted of Harvey Fuqua, Bobby Lester, Alexander Graves, and Prentice Barnes. Their smooth vocal blend and emotional delivery set them apart from other doo-wop groups of era. Sincerely reached #1 on rhythm and blues charts and crossed over to pop charts, becoming one of defining songs of doo-wop era. Simon loved how Moonglows could make simple melodies feel so powerful through harmony alone.
I'm honored to induct the Moonglows into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Their influence appears throughout Simon's work, especially in his attention to vocal arrangements and harmonic structure. The group worked with legendary disc jockey Alan Freed, who helped popularize their music. Harvey Fuqua later became an important figure in Motown Records. The Moonglows showed Simon that voices blending together could create something magical and transcendent. Their gospel roots combined with secular lyrics created a template for rock and roll vocal groups. Simon would spend the rest of his life chasing that same buzz you get when blend is just right. That sound, Moonglows perfected on Sincerely. 7. The Penguins. The Penguins earned immortality with their 1954 classic Earth Angel. Simon referenced them specifically in his 1983 song Renee and Georgette Magritte with their dog after the war as one of deep, forbidden music groups he treasured. The Penguins formed in Los Angeles in 1953. Lead singer Cleveland Duncan's smooth tenor voice, backed by tight harmonies from Curtis Williams, Dexter Tisby, and Bruce Tate, created an unforgettable sound. Earth Angel became one of most covered songs in rock and roll history, reaching #1 on rhythm and blues charts. Simon loved Penguins because they represented pure essence of doo-wop vocal harmony.
So,
It's generally good and it's fun.
Their ability to convey longing and romance through simple chord progressions influenced how Simon approached melody writing. Group recorded for Dutone Records, and their success helped establish West Coast doo-wop scene. Earth Angel competed with Crew Cut's cover version on pop charts, showing racial dynamics of the 1950s music industry. Simon tried to explain to his father that he was hearing about Earth Angel, but his father didn't buy it. The Penguins demonstrated that teenagers could create music speaking directly to their generation's experience. Their legacy lived on through Simon's continued reverence for 1950s vocal group sound throughout his entire career. 6. The Five Satins. The Five Satins created one of most romantic doo-wop songs ever recorded with In the Still of the Night in 1956. Simon mentioned them in his song about Renee and Georgette Magritte as part of the essential vocabulary of his songwriting. The Five Satins formed in New Haven, Connecticut in 1954. Lead singer Fred Paris wrote In the Still of the Night while serving in the Army. Song featured his falsetto vocals backed by rich harmonies that became doo-wop standard. The group consisted of Paris, Al Denby, Ed Martin, Jim Freeman, and Jesse Murphy. Their sound represented everything Simon loved about 1950s vocal music.
These songs being so well accepted.
Simple chord progression combined with heartfelt delivery created a timeless recording. In the Still of the Night sold over 1 million copies and remains one of most beloved doo-wop recordings. The song has been featured in countless films and television shows. The Five Satins showed Simon that sophisticated emotion could be expressed through seemingly simple musical forms. Their attention to vocal blend and dynamics influenced how Simon and Garfunkel would later approach their own harmony singing. Even though Simon used more complex songwriting forms later in career, he always went back to that doo-wop sound as foundation. Five Satins represented purity and directness that Simon never stopped admiring. 5. The Orioles. The Orioles were pioneers who helped create doo-wop sound in late 1940s. Simon referenced them alongside other vocal groups as essential to his musical education. The Orioles formed in Baltimore, Maryland in 1946, making them one of the earliest rhythm and blues vocal groups. Lead singer Sonny Till had a smooth tenor voice that influenced countless singers who followed. Their 1948 hit, It's Too Soon to Know, is considered by many music historians as first doo-wop record ever made. The group consisted of Till, George Nelson, Alexander Sharp, Johnny Reed, and Tommy Gaither. The Orioles bridged the gap between gospel quartets and secular rhythm and blues groups. They sang on street corners in Baltimore before getting discovered and signed to a record label. Their vocal arrangements were more sophisticated than many groups that followed. Songs like Crying in the Chapel and Tell Me So showcased their ability to blend voices seamlessly. Simon studied Orioles' recordings to understand foundations of vocal harmony.
He convinced us to do the music, and the music was supposed to be mostly original music.
They proved that black vocal groups could cross over to mainstream audiences. The Orioles influenced everyone from Moonglows to Five Satins to every doo-wop group that came after. Simon recognized Orioles as founding fathers of sound he loved most, acknowledging their historical importance in shaping American popular music. 4. The Louvin Brothers. The Louvin Brothers were a country harmony duo who influenced Everly Brothers, who then influenced Simon and Garfunkel. Simon said as he and Artie were learning Everly Brothers, they were also unconsciously learning Louvins. The Louvin brothers were Ira and Charlie Louvin from Alabama, who started performing in 1940. They sang traditional country and gospel music with close harmony that became legendary in country music. Their vocal blend was so tight you couldn't tell who was singing lead because both parts were beautiful and sung so beautifully. Songs like When I Stop Dreaming and I Don't Believe You've Met My Baby showcased their perfect harmonies. Ira played mandolin while Charlie played guitar, and both sang with emotional intensity rooted in Southern gospel tradition. They recorded for Capitol Records and influenced generations of harmony singers. Simon recognized that the Everly Brothers model was the Louvin Brothers, and the Beatles' John and Paul were undoubtedly doing the same thing. The Louvins represented the purest form of brother harmony singing in American music. Their ability to blend voices seamlessly set standards for all duos that followed. Simon understood that his own harmony work with Garfunkel traced directly back through Everly's to Leuven's, creating an unbroken line of American harmony singing from Appalachian Mountains to New York recording studios. 3. The Everly Brothers. The Everly Brothers were Simon's greatest vocal influence. He called Don and Phil Everly the best-sounding duo he ever heard. Better than Simon and Garfunkel, better than John and Paul, just astonishingly great. Simon and Garfunkel really learned to sing harmony by learning Everly Brothers records. At age 13, Simon got his first guitar and taught himself to play by studying Everly Brothers recordings. Their close vocal harmonies and acoustic arrangements drew from Appalachian folk traditions. The Everlys formed in 1957 and had massive hits like Bye Bye Love, Wake Up Little Susie, and All I Have to Do Is Dream. Don and Phil were from Kentucky and learned harmonies from their parents who were country musicians. They recorded songs written by Felice and Boudleaux Bryant in Nashville. Their sound was something Simon and Garfunkel strived for. That kind of buzz you get when blend is just right. Simon invited the Everly Brothers to come out of retirement in 2003 to be guest performers on the Simon and Garfunkel reunion tour. Everly also sang on Graceland album track Graceland, providing harmony vocals. They showed Simon that brother harmony could work in rock and roll context while maintaining country and folk music roots. 2. The Crows. Simon heard the Crows on radio show Make Believe Ballroom when he was a young boy. Their song G was really the first thing he heard that he liked. It was really the first time he heard rock and roll music. The Crows were a doo-wop group from Harlem, New York, formed in 1951. They recorded G in 1953, and it became one of first rock and roll hits by black vocal group. The song featured tight harmonies and simple melodies that captured young Simon's imagination. The Crows consisted of lead singer Daniel Norton, Harold Major, Gerald Hamilton, and William Davis. Their vocal blend represented the pure essence of street corner harmony singing that defined the 1950s New York music scene. Simon tried to explain to his father the feeling he got from hearing this new music. His father was a very good musician who came from the era of sophisticated big band music and Sinatra. He didn't buy it, but Simon loved that record. The Crows showed Simon that music didn't need complex arrangements to be powerful. Their raw harmonies and emotional delivery became a blueprint for everything Simon would later create. Street corner doo-wop from New York became one of two big influences Simon traced his entire repertoire back to throughout his career. 1. The Boyoyo Boys. The Boyoyo Boys were a South African band whose cassette tape changed Paul Simon's life and career direction. Lorne Michaels, creator of Saturday Night Live and Simon's best friend, gave Simon a cassette of Boyoyo Boys music. Simon was inspired to find a band who recorded it and work with them. This cassette sparked the entire Graceland project that became his biggest-selling solo album. The Boyoyo Boys played Mbaqanga-style South African township music with guitars, bass, drums, and penny whistle creating infectious rhythms. Their instrumental tracks featured guitar lines and bass grooves that captivated Simon. He traveled to South Africa to meet musicians and record with them in Johannesburg studios. The Boyoyo Boys' music represented street sounds of Soweto, combining traditional African rhythms with modern instruments. Their grooves became the foundation for several Graceland tracks. Simon heard something in their music that connected to his own roots in American rhythm and blues. He recognized that South African township jive had similarities to doo-wop music from his New York childhood. Both came from street corners and working-class communities. The Boyoyo Boys opened the door to an entirely new musical universe for Simon, proving great music could come from anywhere and connect across continents and cultures when rhythms and melodies speak a universal language. These 9 bands gave Simon his musical foundation. From New York doo-wop groups to South African choirs, from country harmony brothers to township musicians, each taught him about power of voices blending together. They showed him that great harmony singing connects all cultures and generations through the universal language of music.